I'm engaged.
Wake up. It's the first of the month.
What's up, girl gang? Welcome back to the girls' room. Today is a very special episode, and I am so excited to be back here spilling in my digital diary. I had to take a little 2-week hiatus because we were traveling. We went to Turks and Caicos, which, if you noticed a little something on my left hand just now, your girl's engaged. So I'm really excited to talk about that. And then I had to fly to Florida kind of like 3 or 4 days after I got back from Turks for my little sister's high school graduation, which was really nice to spend time with her and celebrate that milestone. So congratulations, Kaylee. She's going to University of Miami. I'm so proud of her. That's where I wanted to go if I went to school, but that wasn't in the cards for me. So I'm really excited to see what she does. I know she's going to do big things, and it was really cute to meet some of her friends and know that she like tells them about my podcast and talks about me, because sometimes she's 18. I don't even know if she likes me like half the time. So that was fun. And yeah, it's just kind of been a struggle getting back into real life and getting work done and being productive. I'm not having the most productive week. I got back really late on Sunday night, and on Monday I was kind of like, I know my body and I need to give myself the day to rot, because if I continue and keep going, I'm going to get sick, especially with the plane and stuff like that. My body just gets so out of whack from traveling and not being home and not eating home cooked food and all of that. My body's a sensitive little baby. I had to really give myself the permission to be like, you need to just chill the fuck out because you're exhausted. Because when we were in Florida, I like barely slept. We got there super late Friday night. I worked Friday, went straight there, and then we had to be up at like 6 a.m. to get to this graduation for 8 to make sure we got seats. So it was just like nonstop kind of going. So I didn't sleep that great. So yeah, I don't know how these like influencers and jet set girlies do it. There was a time in my life where I really wanted that life. I wanted to live out of a suitcase. I wanted to be like traveling the world and doing all this stuff. And now I'm like, I miss my dogs. I miss my girl. I'm not used to being away from her when I'm traveling, even if it's just a weekend. And I always miss the dogs like so much. So yeah, that was that. But obviously I want to spill all the tea about my proposal and the engagement and all of that. It is such an amazing, happy moment. And I kind of want to take you guys like from just through all of it, because this is like my digital diary. And I kind of want to give you guys the inside scoop about this proposal. So back in March, which was my birthday, Amanda gifted me this trip to Turks and Caicos as my birthday gift. And that was like my antennas were up. That was my first like red flag, because Amanda, I know her very well. She doesn't do surprises, and she doesn't do surprise trips specifically. She just doesn't do that. She would never be like, we're going on a trip. Like, she's not like that. She likes plans. She likes things, you know, like that, more type A. So my antennas were kind of up, and I was like, oh my God, this is such a nice gift. Like, are you sure? And she's like, what do you mean? Like, yes, I'm sure. And I'm like, okay. So I like marinated with it for a second, and then all of a sudden it like punched me in the gut. I was like, she's proposing. So I text my best friend Candace, and I was like, basically like, I just need to say this out loud. Like, please do not respond. Like, this text message will self-destruct in 5 seconds type of vibe. And I was like, I think Amanda's going to propose to me in Turks. Don't respond. I don't want to know. I don't want to ruin the surprise. I just like needed to say it to someone. And I knew that Amanda would tell her about the proposal. So I didn't want to like put any pressure on her, or like, and I didn't want to like know, I wanted some element of surprise. So I didn't want to put any pressure on her or anything like that. Um, like asking questions or making her feel like she needed to respond. I wanted to make it less stressful, is basically what I'm trying to say. And my sister-in-law, I knew she knew too, just because I know Amanda would tell her. But she's pregnant, and I never mentioned it to her at all because I didn't want to stress her out. So that was in March. Fast forward a few months, there was some like pretty obvious moments. So Amanda was on the phone with her mom on speaker. I was home working from home, and her mom said something like, "Are you loving the ring yet?" And Amanda got all like frazzled, and she like took her mom off speaker, and she's like, and I was like bright red. So I went in the bathroom and I was like texting my friend Sam. And I'm like, oh my God, it's definitely happening. Because I knew Amanda wouldn't tell Sam because Sam would tell me. Like, if I was like, I think she's proposing, she'd be like, she is. She like wouldn't be able to help it. So Sam was really the only one I could like tell about these like signs that were happening. So I come out of the bathroom and Amanda's like, I just went to look at some rings. I found one I liked. You know, don't think anything's happening. I just showed my mom and like I wanted her opinion, but I haven't bought anything, nothing set in stone. It was like a decent attempt at a cover up, but like I said, I wasn't trying to stress anyone out or push it because I did want to like feel some surprise. I was like, okay, babe, like, no worries. Amanda ripped her mom later on for that comment. I'm shocked that my dad didn't slip up because he could do that. I feel like, I don't know if he's done that in the past, so I won't say that, but like by accident. And also like with our other friends, like Amanda's best friends knew, and it's hard when you're like a group of girls and two of the girls are a couple because you're just like, I don't know how to explain it. Like you're used to talking about stuff like with the girls and you don't think about it. So, you know, it's kind I would can't talk. I wouldn't have been surprised if someone was like, "Oh my God, are you guys excited?" I don't know how to explain it if I'm explaining this right at all, but whatever. None of the friends slipped up. So that was one sign. Then, you know, she was telling me the itinerary for the trip, and we had this like private beach dinner at the resort. And I'm like, okay, that's probably where it's happening because Amanda knows me. I know Amanda. We wouldn't really want a bunch of people around. We're both kind of like, as much as I like creating content and putting myself out there, I don't love being like the center of attention and the spotlight where I'm getting a ton of attention. Like my Sweet 16, my brother walked me out and my bottom lip was like shaking because I was so filled with nerves and anxiousness. And Amanda would feel the same way. So I'm like, she's not going to do it in a restaurant. And she went and got this like custom outfit from Suit Supply, or not custom, but tailored outfit from Suit Supply. So I'm like, she's getting like a tailored outfit for this trip. So she's like, that's for the beach dinner. So I'm like, okay, so I need like a nicer outfit for that dinner. Cause you know, it's Turks. A lot of the stuff is a little bit more like beachy vibes, laid back. So she winds up buying me like 3 dresses. She's like, I got you these dresses to try for the nice dinner because I was kind of like, I want to like wear stuff I have. I have so much stuff that I never wore in Italy last year. And I'm trying not to spend as much money. So I was like, let me just see what I have. So she's like, oh, I'm going to get you something nice. So she bought like 3 dresses and they were all white. So if anybody's wondering why I had a white outfit on in the pictures, that's why. So I really liked one of the dresses. It was really cute. It had like bell sleeves. I can pop in a picture. We only have one of the professional pictures right now. They have to send them to us once they're like done. So she gets me this dress and I'm like, okay, it's white, whatever. So those were some of the signs. So now we go to Turks. We get there. It's fucking torrential downpouring, like tropical storm. We got there on a Wednesday and we were supposed to leave on Saturday. So we're like, fuck. She's like, I've been here 3 times. It has never, ever rained. So obviously it's still beautiful, but like The resort was all flooded. Also, we stayed at Waimara. It's fucking beautiful, really gorgeous, especially like just driving around the island and seeing some of the other hotels. Like this place immaculate. Like the room, they upgraded our room. When we got there, I don't know if that was because of the rain or because they knew I don't really know why it was, or maybe because they knew about the proposal. I really don't know, but they upgraded us to this huge suite, water facing like the ocean. It was just gorgeous. So it's all flooded. The rain stopped that night. We go out to dinner. The next day, same thing, torrential downpouring. So everyone in the resort is kind of on the same page. Everyone's like at the bar, like it's all covered. Everyone's at the bar, just like hanging out, like having lunch, chilling, because you don't want to like sit in the room. So now Amanda's like very upset about the weather, which I knew she would be upset about the weather, but she was like very upset about the weather. So she's like, I think I'm going to extend another day. And I'm like, really? Are you sure? And she's like, yeah, like we're only going to get like one day because now it's Wednesday, Thursday. She's like, we're going to get one day of sun. We leave Saturday. She's like, I don't want to do that. So she extended for us to stay till Sunday, which wound up being nice because she proposed on Friday. So we wouldn't have to be sitting in an airport the day after our proposal. So she extends the trip. So now Friday comes, it's beautiful weather. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I am like, you know, okay, like today's the day in my head, like kind of like we're both like kind of anxious, like towards the time of dinner. So I'm getting ready on the balcony because the natural light, like just with my phone making content. And Amanda's like trying to get me to come inside. So she's like, babe, come inside. Your hair's going to get flat. I'm like, my hair's going to get flat. Like, what? Because it was so humid and it's going to get flat regardless. But she didn't want me on the balcony because they were setting up the proposal. So I didn't see it. She like right away. She thought I had seen it and I didn't. I actually didn't see it till like I was already ready. I think I had just like walked by the balcony and I saw them putting the roses and I was like, oh my God, that's probably for me. I wasn't like 100% sure, but I'm like, it probably is. And that's why she wants me off the balcony. So I didn't go back on the balcony again at all. So we're getting ready. I'm putting on my dress. Zipper breaks. I think the zipper breaks. I have a fucking meltdown. We both panic because I didn't have another like nicer. I had dresses, but like this was like the dress I wanted to wear. So we're freaking out. Zipper wasn't broken. Everything was okay. Crisis averted. This is why you need backup outfits, which I never do. And now it's like 6:15-ish and we're both ready, which we're usually late for everything, especially me. We're both fully ready, standing there, both kind of like anxious. So, and she's got this big ring box in her pocket, which I honestly did not even notice because I was just nervous in my own like head. So she's like, let's just go down now. And I'm like, are you sure we could go down now? Because I'm figuring like it's a reservation or whatever. Like, I don't know what she had. I don't know what the proposal plan was. So I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, let's just go down. So she's thinking at first she's going to like take me to the bar. We're going to have a drink. But then she was so nervous. She was like, just started walking me to the area. It was so beautiful. The amount of thought and detail that she just put into this, like it was like 100 long stem roses on the beach. It was a little bit down the beach so we could have some privacy because the weather's so nice there. Like people are still out and like in the water and stuff like that. So she didn't want it to be, like I said, a main focal point where like everybody was there. And we were walking and like, I don't even remember like much of what was said. I had tears in my eyes. I was so anxious. And she had tears in her eyes too. Like neither of us were like crying. We were just kind of like jittery and like, oh my God. And then she proposed. And the ring is fucking insane. Like, I don't even know if it's picking up on camera, like how gorgeous this ring is. It's a radiant, it's a wider radiant, which I was kind of picky about my dimensions. We did go ring shopping in December because she wanted me to try things on, because she was like, you might think you like something and then you try it on and you don't. That was so smart of her, because I always thought I wanted an elongated cushion or a cushion, and I tried it on and I hated it on my hand. And I wound up liking Radiant, but like a different, not a skinny Radiant, a little bit wider. So she did really, really, really good. Like, this ring is like, I never want to take it off. I couldn't. Obviously I said yes. So now I say yes. And this photographer is running down the beach with all his equipment, no shoes on, just flying down the beach. And he's like, oh my God. He's like, did you say yes? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I missed the proposal because we were so early. He's like, never in all the years I've been doing this has anyone come early. He's like, sometimes late, but I've never missed it. So we had to like reenact the proposal, which honestly just makes for a funny story. There was some people in the water. They're like, yeah, like cheering us on, which was cool. Cause honestly, you never really know like how people are going to be like, cause we're two girls, you really don't, especially like older people. So everyone at the resort was really nice. They were coming up to us, congratulating us. And just those interactions alone made me realize that I probably wouldn't like a wedding. And Amanda too. Just so many people approaching us with love and super sweet and nice conversations. But between all the pictures we took with the photographer, it was like an hour of pictures. I was like, yeah, I probably just really wouldn't like it. For me personally, it just feels like too much. I think down the road, when we decide to like get married, it will be like some sort of courthouse thing. Like, I'm really just not into like, for me, like the big spectacle of it all. I think if I had like throwaway money and I can do whatever I wanted, that would be like a different situation. But we're in our mid 30s, like starting a life together. We want to buy a house. We want to have kids. We want to do all these things. And that's really the priority for me. And I really want like this long engagement. I always have. I always just said, I just want a beautiful ring to wear for the rest of my life. And that's what I got. So before you guys start asking, when's the wedding? When's the wedding? There's your answer. No time soon. And we are both very comfortable with that and very much on the same page, which is really nice. Because there isn't even a conversation. Like, we're just so in tune and in line with each other and what we want and our needs. And it's like perfect. So that was the proposal. I'm excited to be stepping into Pride Month as a fiance. And with the love of my life, we have, for the most part, been really well received by our family and friends, and beautiful flower arrangements and gifts sent to the house and given to us. And it's been such a happy, happy moment. Of course, with situations like this, sometimes there are people that are not happy for you. And unfortunately, sometimes those people are in your own family. And, you know, this is something I did want to speak on because I think I know other people have been in this situation. Even if you're straight and your, parents don't like the guy you're with or the girl you're with, like, it happens all the time. I think with couples that aren't straight, it just hits a little bit different when the reasoning is simply because you're not straight or you're with someone of the same sex or whatever the case is. Now, I wanted to approach this in a way that felt really good for me. And anyone that knows me at all knows that you got to do a lot of things to me for me to cut you off or for me to really react. And the thing that feels good for me when approaching this is never to bash anyone, because in reality, the way people treat you is a reflection of themselves and how they feel about themselves. And I'm sure you've heard that before and you hear it all the time, but it's very true. And even if you look at yourself and situations you've been in where maybe you didn't treat people well, I know I've been in these situations. Usually the first thing that I say when there's an apology or when there's any conversation about it is, I was in a really bad place. Like, I wasn't happy. I'm sorry. I was projecting. I took that out on you. And, some people's entire lives are a projection of how they feel about themselves. And, sometimes you are a mirror and you're showing people who they are and they don't really like it. And, this particular person I have a tumultuous past with, and I thought it would be important to talk about because other people should feel seen and heard and feel like they aren't alone in these type of situations. And this is like my digital diary where it's almost therapeutic for me to also do this. So doing it in a way that feels right for me means I'm not bashing anyone and I'm not going into specifics. That's private and personal, and I never want to have something on the internet or out there in the world that I'm not going to be proud of later. And I'm someone that's very, very thoughtful in the way that I approach most situations. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit choked up. I really don't want to cry. And I'm not going to cry because this is such a happy time for me. In a time where education and learning and understanding and trying to learn things about other people that are different than you, when all of that information is kind of at your fingertips and you choose to not educate yourself, which we're all guilty of this on some level, but when it comes to someone you love and care about, I think that there should be a true effort in trying to understand or at least respect. And I feel like if you can't understand, what you can do is realize that it's not for you to understand, right? It's not for me to understand how every single person lives their life. It's not my business, really. And as far as people that I love and care about, as long as they're not hurting people, as long as they're with someone good, as long as they're doing the right thing, as long as, there's just things are good, then it's not for me to understand. If you're happy, you're happy. And I can still be there and be there for you and be supportive of you without understanding 100%. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a big thing. Like, when you can say, I don't really get it, but I love you and respect you, and I'm really happy for you. Because at the end of the day, like, nobody in my family has one bad word to say about Amanda. Even this person. They actually really like Amanda. So at the core of it, it's really more that it's just that we're two girls, right? And they can't understand it. And this was not the first time that there's been an issue just throughout my life about everything I like, everything I want to do. There was a conversation when I first came out about me never expressing it as a child. Truth is, I always thought about girls, even as a kid. I liked boys too. That's a thing. Like, I know, mind blown. But I did think about girls, but I didn't feel safe to talk about that the way I grew up. I just didn't. And also, I think I'm very much someone that just loves a person for who they are. I fall in love with the person more than anything else. So that's also something that is hard for people to get. Especially, I leave a lot of space and room for the way people were raised, the way they grew up, that they're old school, religious, this, that, and the third. But I am known in my family as the mediator, which I've talked about this before, the peacemaker. I give people a lot of rope. And Amanda and I have been nothing but respectful, patient, kind, loving, understanding in giving this person the space and the time to figure it out. And some people in my family might say, oh, well, they've come around. they haven't fully come around. They just like Amanda is really what it is. I think meeting Amanda made it so much better. Having Amanda around, holidays, that did make it better until it was like, oh, now we're taking it to the next level. And why would they want to get married type of thing? Or they shouldn't get married. They can just be partners. It's like not for you to dictate. But also at the core, what this is for me is that this will be the last time that a special moment has any sort of dark cloud around it. And I am someone that likes to try and make things work. I'm someone that likes to talk about things. The first time I went through this was when I came out. And, I wrote a letter, I put some space there, and tried to give it some air and said, it was a surprise, let them marinate with it. But I knew better because I know this person, and I knew that this would happen with my engagement. In fact, I called it months before. I talked about it in therapy because I was scared, because I knew it kind of felt like the moment where everything would change in my family going forward. And I don't know if it's unfortunate or fortunate, but I'm definitely the one in my family that is breaking cycles, not tolerate certain behaviors. And I have tolerated them because of the fear of changing the dynamic completely. Holidays, everything will change. Everything will forever be changed. And listen, I'm not going to say that I'll never talk to this person again, or that maybe, there's like a 1% chance of any sort of progress with this, but everybody in my family has my back. Every single person, my grandmother, everybody has my back. And shout out to my brother and my sister-in-law, Adela, because they really have been like my protectors and like they've just really been there for me. So, with that being said, I can't continue this type of cycle where I feel unwelcome or feel like I can't be myself or feel like myself isn't good enough or like I'm doing something wrong. And I think that's the big thing, right? Is feeling like you're doing something wrong. I know I'm not. And I'm 34 years old, so I can't keep living this life where I'm tiptoeing or on eggshells around someone, because at the end of the day, as much as I can respect your beliefs, I can still think that they're stupid, and I can't rationalize with, an irrational thought process. There are so many things that people can be. I could be dead. I could be an addict. I could be an alcoholic. There's a history of that in my family. I'm a healthy, smart girl, and I've made pretty good choices for myself. They're just not the choices that, I wasn't like checking boxes off. I did what I wanted to do, and I always have. So, I feel like I can't have moments like this brought down by behavior that's mean, firstly, and thoughtless, harsh, hurtful, irrational, all of it. I can't have that at every turn. And I have had it through most of my life. And now this is a huge milestone. I just got engaged. I'm moving forward with a partner who's amazing to me. And I am really lucky that literally everyone else is perfectly, loves me the way I am, accepts me and Amanda. Neither of us are ever uncomfortable. And I'm building my own family. And I can't build a family because I can't build a family with this type of behavior in it. The next time there will be some erratic response will be when I say that I want to have kids. When I say I'm actually getting married, when I say I'm buying a house. I'm not going to have this at every turn. This moment was already special enough, and I'm not going to say it was ruined, because it for sure was not ruined, but there was a little tainting done, and I can't have that. And it's not for lack of it's not for lack of trying. I have tried. I have, like I said, written letters. I've had conversations that were hard and uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, I know that me being me is not a bad thing. And then there's nothing wrong with me. And I've said in the past that I think closure is a scam. I'm starting to feel like acceptance also is too, because just like with closure, some people are never going to give you the acceptance that you want or accept you as you are. And obviously this comes on like so many different levels, but me seeking that acceptance and validation is going to get me nowhere, and I just can't do that anymore. I have to give that to myself, and this is the way that I can do it, by saying, you know, I'm done. I can't have this relationship anymore. And that's to protect me for many reasons, because I'm very sensitive. I need to protect my partner. I need to protect the life that I'm building. And if I'm not happy and I'm not feeling good and I'm feeling upset, it just trickles down, right? You know, I think about having kids and the way that I want to be a mother, and I need to set boundaries and hold to them, and, you know, at a minimum, demand respect. And not demand it, at a minimum, expect that I'm respected, right? And I'm not. And I wouldn't let anybody else in my life be disrespectful to me. And, you know, you get to a certain point where you have to look at certain people, whether it's your family, whoever it is that you held to like a different standard, you got to treat them the same way you would have treated anybody else that treats you with disrespect. In fact, even more so, because this person is now loving you with conditions. That's what it feels like, at least. It's not unconditional, it's with conditions. It's, you're not fitting in this box, and now I'm done with it, kind of thing. Life is already hard enough to navigate for so many reasons. You know, inflation, everything is fucking so expensive. If you don't feel normal, which, you know, the norm changes every single day, especially what it was, you know, 30, even 20 years ago, that has changed. And especially with people who are not straight, you know, I think let me rephrase that. You know, certain people of a certain mindset think that it's a choice to be gay. It's not a choice. You know, look at Amanda. Her mom is one of, I think one of four. Yeah, one of four. There was 5 of them total. She's the only straight one, her mom. The rest of them were all gay. And Amanda's gay. And her sister wasn't. She was born that way. She will tell you that. I'll tell you from when I was a little girl, like I said before, I had these thoughts. It's just I wasn't in the environment to explore them, or I never really let them, you know, be. I was like, oh yeah, boys are cool. I like them too. Like, you know, I just never like got myself there because I didn't feel like I was allowed to. But with all of this like research and all this information that you can access in this day and age, right at your fingertips, to not at least try to understand that this idea from the Bible or wherever the fuck you want to get it from has changed, and it's always been there. It just wasn't as accepted or talked about or any of those things, and people weren't living their truth. I mean, how many, you know, people were like gay undercover in like all these old like movies and actors, and I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you know, it's not a choice, and it's something that's in you, right? So knowledge is power, and learning about people that are different than you is really important. And you don't have to like it, but if you feel angry or hatred or anything other than just being like, you do you, I'll do me, I respect it, it's not for me, but I respect it, you need to do some looking into yourself, because you shouldn't care that much. You shouldn't care that much about someone else's lifestyle or who they like or who they want to marry or who they sleep with, you shouldn't care unless it's directly affecting you in some sort of negative way. Other than that, it's none of your business. And if you feel so strongly about other people living their life the way that they feel they want to live it, you got to do some self-reflecting and really take a look inside. You know, I saw this quote for Pride, and it said, "We celebrate Pride because there are people who'd rather be dead than be who they are." And how fucking sad is that? Anybody with a heart or a conscience or brain should hear that. And, you know, that should make you feel like that's too far. And there are people losing their lives every day for so many reasons, and losing your life for being who you are and what people consider different, or feeling suicidal or like you don't want to be here because of the way you were born, it's really not okay. And you know, we've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go. And I just wanted to put this message out for anybody who feels different like I do, or has been made to feel different, because actually I feel fine in my everyday life. I don't know if it's because I live in Brooklyn, but I feel fine in my everyday life. And I am very proud of who I am and who I'm with. And I am so proud of myself for being brave enough to, at 30 years old, say, actually, like, I want to be with this girl I met. Like, like, it's not easy to do that. And especially not easy to do that when you have someone who is close to you, but really doesn't accept it. And it could be much worse for me. It could be much worse. There are stories much worse than mine. Mine is just more of a emotional and sentimental kind of situation where it just sucks and it really hurts and I wish I could change it. But I've done all I can and I've given enough rope. And now you've hung yourself. And I need to walk away from that for myself. So if you're in a situation where you feel the way I felt, and you've tried and you felt like you've tried and tried to save whatever relationship it is, just know that there are people that love and care about you, and you can walk away. And sometimes when you walk away, you know, you're going to like attract the right people around you. And like I said, I have the most amazing friends in the world, and the family, literally 99.99999% of my family has been so incredible and surrounded me with love and support and all the things that you should get from your family, because life is hard enough. And the only reason you should be concerned if your child feels like they are not straight or fitting the, you know, norm, for lack of a better word, is because you're worried that they'll have a harder life. And that's fair, because we're not 100% like a place, especially depending on where you live, where this is like widely accepted. In New York it is, but in California it is. But, you know, it's not like that everywhere. And if I had a child that was whatever, anything, I would just be worried that they would have a harder life in school, you know, discrimination because of that. You know, those things are very real. That would be my only concern. I would want my home to be like that safe haven for them, where they know that they can talk to me about these things and not get that hate or that judgment from inside their own home. And I think that's important for anyone like in your life. You should be providing a space like that. Because what's the point of friendship and family if it's filled with judgment and anger and resentment and all of those things? Sometimes people are just people. And sometimes you could love someone, but you don't necessarily like them. And that's real. So I just wanted to touch on that lightly, because if it resonates with at least one person, that's amazing. And I'm glad. And I want you to feel seen, heard, loved, and supported. And I want to feel that too. And I do feel that. So thank you to my people. I love you all. And outside of that, I am I'm not letting, that's why I was like, I'm not going to cry because I'm done crying tears, because I'm only going to cry happy tears because this is such a beautiful time in my life and I couldn't be spending it with anybody better. And shout out to Amanda, my amazing fiance, which I got to get used to saying that because that's a new word for me. I've never been a fiance. I've never even been close to being a fiance. No, give yourself that approval, accept yourself wholly and fully, and love yourself, flaws and all, because we all got them. And let's celebrate Pride Month with happy, happy, happy stuff. So that is that. I just wanted to touch on that. Didn't mean to put that little cloud over the moment while I talk about it, but I did sit on this for the last 2 weeks, kind of thinking about if I wanted to share it or not. But I did share it in a way that felt good to me, like I said, where I'm not getting too much into detail, because I don't need to. That's not for the world. That's private. But I can share enough and just, let people know that they're not the only ones going through it. And, social media is a highlight reel. And you just want to put it out there, be vulnerable. Like, I want to be vulnerable in this situation and share some of it. Because, like I said, I do think it's really important for other people to see people like them and understand people that understand them, that they can, just see themselves in the situation. So yeah, if anybody is going through anything, like always, you can always send me an email. I don't have to share it with everyone. And if I do, it can be anonymous. That's totally your call. But, tgrpod.nyc@gmail.com if you have anything you want to talk about. Regarding anything, please send me an email. I love helping people and talking to people about these things. Oh my God, look at this cutie cup I got. So I'm in my full corny girl Etsy era. I was in Florida, like I said, with my sister, and we were at that store, Altered State, and they had this cup in my wifey era. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to buy it just to be like corny. And I actually love it. And I love that they make it so that you have to hold it with your left hand for it to be red. Very schmut. And as far as my high and low of the week, there's no low. Let's try and make this a good month, actually. I mean, I do kind of have a low. Like, I'm not really that productive right now, but it's fine. This too shall pass. We're going to just have a high of the week. Obviously, the high is that I'm engaged. And I don't know, I guess the low is that sometimes people suck and it's heartbreaking. So I said I wasn't gonna have a low, but there is kind of a low. But it doesn't matter because the high is so like high that like we can't even see you down there. We can't. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I have to do some work and be a productive member of society. So yeah, it was nice catching up with you guys. I will see you next week. I'm so happy we got to do this today. I'm so happy I got to share this story. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, stories you want to share, like I said, please send it to tgrpod.nyc@gmail.com. And I will see you guys next week. Love you. Bye.